Austria says that it will build a fence on its border with fellow EU member Slovenia to slow down the flow of refugees. The plans were announced by the Austrian Interior Minister, but he gave no details or a time frame. Well, Slovenia supports the plan and says it's ready to build the fence immediately if necessary. 3,000 to 8,000 people cross into Austria from Slovenia daily. Over the weekend, EU and Balkan countries agreed to introduce tighter border controls to stem the flow of refugees. Meanwhile, the crisis is apparently causing a rift in the German government. The Prime Minister of Bavaria, one of Merkel's key coalition partners, says the Chancellor has to end her open-door policy. Well, Horst Zahehofer has given Merkel until Sunday to put an end to the influx of refugees. Well, let's talk about this further. I'm joined by Petr Bystron, chairman of the Alternative for Germany party in Bavaria. Hello to you, sir. Thank you for your time. So interesting stuff. So Seehofer has previously threatened to take Merkel to the Constitutional Court over her decision to open the borders to refugees, right? So do you think that it could really go that far? Because that's quite an internal conflict, isn't it?
Well, yes, it is, but this will be difficult to get her in front of the court. So I don't think it's going to be so far.
But even just the threat of it, what does that tell us about the politics in Germany over the refugee crisis? What does it signal?
You see how deep the crisis is, which Angela Merkel caused with her politics. You know, the criticism you mentioned before of Horst Zahehofer doesn't come from the opposition. This is a criticism from her own party. So the Christian Democratic Union and the Christian Social Union, they are allies in the government. And you see there is a deep ravine in between those two parties, and Angela Merkel is facing a lot of criticism from her own people.
Actually, just moving on from that as well, earlier Merkel's own MPs, they proposed fencing off Germany from its eastern neighbours with barbed wire. So that also highlights, doesn't it, the dissent of the ranks in the party. Can you tell us more about that?
Well, it was also funny that Horst Zahehofer said Angela Merkel should take care that our neighbours, the Austrian, shouldn't avoid the migrants coming to Germany. I mean, the Austrians are behaving very rational way. It was Angela Merkel who invited all the migrants coming to Germany, not to Europe, to Germany. So now the people are coming to Germany and the Austrians just letting them in.
Do you think she regrets that now in hindsight?
Well, the system is already collapsing inside Germany. The refugees camps are overcrowded, and the helpers are also on their limits. And also outside on the borders, you mentioned it already. The example of Slovenia is showing that our neighbor countries are also on their limit. The Slovenians are crying for help.
Well, attacks on refugee shelters in Germany, they've tripled this year, as I'm sure you're aware. Is it possible that by criticising the government in doing that, it actually encourages radical groups?
Well, of course, the whole situation, it's becoming more difficult to handle, but it's not only about the attacks on refugees camps. On other side, especially members of the socialist government were in the last days very, very aggressive in a verbal tone, attacking people just demonstrating in the Pegida movement. They were very aggressively attacking even the Alternative for Germany, even we don't have anything to do with
OK, sir, that's all we've got time for, but thank you very much indeed. We do appreciate that. That's Petr Bystron there from the Alternative for Germany party.
Thank you.